It's the Park Pod, presented by Rest and Relax ROI, helping RV parks reach new heights. Join the discussion as we chat with industry experts, owners, operators, and whoever else seems interesting to us. Here's your host, Mark Rowan.
Hey, welcome to the October 2022 episode of the Park Pod. So glad you could be with us. Where this month we're talking to new friend Eli from BoaVida RV Parks and Resorts. They were excellent to have on. We're so glad to get to know them. They have parks in multiple states and got a lot of good things going on. So check that out for sure. In addition, as usual, we have some news from the industry, what's going on this month. And you don't want to miss the expert marketing tip, where this time we're talking about SEO and some tactics that you want to do in this particular time frame, how things continually change in the industry when it comes to being found on search engines. So stay tuned to that as well. Once again, glad to have you, and here we go. So here we have our website, restrelaxroi.com. Check it out. You can download our free Ultimate RV Park Marketing Checklist. Have it, take it, do with it what you will. Hopefully learn and better yourself and your park and your marketing. What do we do with the M5 system? So this is where we put all these pieces together to improve a park's entire marketing operations. So we start with the reputation, we move on to resell, reach, and retarget. Those are the four areas that we primarily focus on. So check that out as well. You can check out our blog, and while you're checking things out, this is like you're at the grocery store. You're going to check out the Instagram and our social media. Be sure to follow us if you haven't already. We'd love to connect with you. Now we're on to the next thing. All right. The October 2022 publication of Woodall's Campground Magazine. We're looking at the survey that was just recently completed. New survey identifies park owner trends and challenges. And you can see here at the top, it says park owners face a myriad of challenges in areas like marketing, social media management, staffing, and more, according to a newly released campground owner and manager survey. The survey highlights some of the key trends and challenges that park owners face as they navigate a period of time in the outdoor hospitality industry that has brought a new flood of campers into their parks. So this was conducted by Scott Barr, and he's the president of Karen Consulting Group, and Billy McNamara, who is a consultant and also a manager at Loon's Haven Family Campground in Naples, Maine. And then, of course, Woodall supported it as well. It's difficult to see on the screen here, but I recommend that you go to woodallscm.com to download this particular publication, and then you can look at it a little more closely. But if you look at the stats, if you zoom in, you'll be able to tell that staffing is the number one concern. 65% overall realize they need help with that, and I think we all understand that challenge. And then actually a third overall, from what I can tell, was dealing with local ordinances was a big challenge. And then coming up third place overall is marketing. Wow. We know that people need help with all those areas and others. So you can read this article and find out more about that survey at Woodall's. In addition, we're going to look at the modern campground in the glamping show just happened this month, and as of the recording, it just finished up yesterday. You'll be seeing this a little bit later. Also would like to draw your attention, this is my half birthday, October 5th, so just remember that for the future. I know we had influencer marketing as it relates to glamping, and we had the folks from Honey Trek that spoke on that at the show, Ann and Mike Howard, and just the idea that influencer marketing can be useful, not only for glamping, but we're talking about any kind of campground, RV park can potentially use that to get in front of the right types of people. And so here's a quote. It says, good influence. They said it's important for a business to thrive. To do so, the audience must be engaging with diverse content, and influencers can help with this type of marketing. And they define that as online personalities or niche experts. We'll say niche, not niche. I just, whatever. With an engaged social media audience who can impact someone's potential purchase decision through compelling content creation and storytelling. So yeah, I definitely agree. That is a great way to market your campground, RV park, resort, or glamping site. So there you go. That's the news for October 2022, at least the one that I care about.
And now it's time for Hats Off to RV Parks. We wear your hat. You talk about your park.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Hats Off. We've got a beautiful BoaVida RV hat today and Eli Weiner from the BoaVida group. Thanks for being on with us today. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you for inviting me. I'm up early on the West Coast here, enjoying my coffee with you this morning.
Very good. Yeah. I was thinking when I saw the time that you agreed to and the fact that you're from California, I was like, this guy gets up and gets it done. So excited to have you on. So just jumping off from the beginning here, who are you, first of all, and why are you here?
Well, my name's Eli Weiner, and I own and operate mobile home and RV parks across the country. And this is, I think mostly we were going to talk about RV parks and which is a little bit different for me because normally we always focus on the mobile home park sector. Well, I'll give you a little more background. So we own and operate over 190 properties, and about 20 to 25% of those are RV. So it's about 25,000 spaces. And I'm 44 years old. I've been doing this since I was, I think, 22. So, the trick to getting into the mobile home and RV park business is be completely unhireable. So if you have no options, then you can find yourself in this business. So, but basically in 2000, so we always bought like long-term extended stay RV parks and ran them just like mobile home parks. We have several of those. Those are kind of the majority of that 25%. But in 2017, by kind of accident, to buy this beautiful golf course mobile home park, I had to buy this 163 space RV park in Borrego Springs that was attached to it, that had a beautiful nine hole golf course that was in between the RV park and the mobile home park. So I had to buy them both together. And I was nervous about the high-end destination RV park business. But so I tried to flip it to the broker, and the broker, he also liked RV parks. He passed, and we're so glad that he did, because that has been probably one of the most successful deals I've ever done. Just the RV portion of that park. But it was scary because a well-run high-end destination RV park, it's like running a hotel. It's not like where a mobile home park might be more like a apartment complex. The RV park is more like running a hotel. So we had to bring in a different team that was, that thought differently and was trained differently. And so we've been building out that team, and that company is called BoaVida RV Parks and Resorts. And you're showing off one of our fancy hats there. I think I sent you a bunch of them. Huh? I think I sent you.
Yeah, I got another one in the background too. I forgot.
Yeah, camo. The camo is my favorite.
Yeah,
my son likes the red, white, and blue.
There you go.
And then here.
Yep, I got that one over there too. It just it's too far to reach for it, but yeah, I've been wearing these already. Definitely sweet hats. Awesome.
Yeah, so you got to get your BoaVida gear, but the difference is we just love that business. We love the people in that business. It's such a we vacation in that park. We go, I think we're going this year for Thanksgiving. We'll usually alternate Christmas, Thanksgiving, when we'll actually go down there and stay there. We've got other parks up in the mountains that we go to in Northern California. So these are the.
So the question is, as the owner, do you pay to get there, or you just show up?
You always pay. You always pay. And you always work.
Nice.
So, but the work there is fun, and serving hot dogs to the kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or ice cream, or that's good stuff.
So you don't take executive advantage and like kick people out of your favorite spot or anything like that?
No, but hopefully, on the golf course ones, hopefully they'll let me play with them.
Yeah. Can I get
They don't let me win. They don't let me win.
Right. Awesome. So cool. Very nice. So BoaVida, tell us about what is that and why choose that as your brand?
Yeah. So when I'll go a little bit further back, but when I originally started in the business, I had a different. There was a different name. It didn't mean anything. It was a copy of another company's name. I didn't understand anything about culture. There was no purpose. It was just, not to go broke. So in 2017, when I started my own company and merged my other partnerships, there was a word that just always stuck with me that I always loved, and that was BoaVida. And my wife is from Brazil. I've got 2 kids, one that's off at Grand Canyon University in Arizona, and then freshman in high school. And my older son, he was born in Brazil. And whenever we'd be in Brazil, and my language skills are terrible, so I never learned Portuguese, but I'd be hanging out, and we'd always be at barbecues, and people would be, over salting their the barbecued meats and drinking beer and stuff, and they'd always look to me, and they didn't know what to say, so they just, because we couldn't communicate that well, so they'd say, the BoaVida, the BoaVida.
Right.
And this was the good life.
Yep.
The good life was our kids are running around, they're playing, families together, we've got community.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about that, whether it's a mobile home park or RV park, it's and even like the neighborhood, any neighborhood you live in, we've all kind of gotten away from knowing our neighbors and having that community. So I challenge our team to help. How do we continue to build the BoaVida within our communities? We got to take care of the basics, but beyond that, can we actually, build a great community and great relationships? And that's, I think, in many ways, that's the extra bit of work that they have to do to make it a good business, really good business, into an extraordinary operation.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. So we touched on the mobile home side and the RV park, but another piece of what you do is giving people the opportunity to invest. So talk to us a little bit about what that looks like.
Yeah. So in 2019, we decided to put together a fund. We used to raise on individual deals, and because of we've had a very good track record, and we never sell. We try to never sell any properties. So we want to hold these properties forever, and we get our money out through cash flow and through refinance. And also it benefits the residents or the customers, because we have this long-term hold mentality. So we're putting a lot of capital into the properties, and we want to really maintain them and keep them at that high level. So with the fund, we all put our money into the fund. I put my money side by side with investors. I typically put between $2 to $3 million a year, and I'll look at 20 to. Our company looks at about 1,000 deals, and the goal is to see if we can find 20 or 30 deals that make sense. Investors basically have the opportunity to invest side by side with us in a diversified fund with mobile home and RV parks, and they get a bunch of accelerated bonus depreciation. The depreciation for mobile home park and RV parks is really kind of unmatched as far as real estate goes, or any other asset that I've ever heard of. But the goal is within, on average 5-6 years, to be able to refinance and get 100% of your cash flow back. And a lot of times with the RV parks, the cash flow is a lot stronger. So you're getting a lot of your money back without even having to refinance. So, and we typically, if we buy 30 properties, we're going to have maybe 10 to 15% of those will be RV.
When you're trying to give somebody some wisdom about investing in these opportunities, what kind of wisdom would you drop on them?
If you're investing, so first of all, mobile home parks are simpler to run than RV parks. Like we talked about. So you want to make sure you're not buying yourself a job. So if you're going to invest in a syndicator, so I would be a real estate syndicator. I specialize in mobile home and RV parks. So I'm an operator. I'm a hands-on operator with a team that has like phenomenal resources, right? That bootstrapped it from day one. So it's important who's running the company, right? But it's also important incentives. So I've got a lot of friends that do the same, that are in the same business, and then I know a lot of people that are also in the same business. But the typical way that when you invest in these type of real estate, either funds or syndications or individual deals, is they're very fee heavy. The whole world is really about charging fees. So, and incentives matter. So if someone gets paid to buy something, if they get an acquisition fee, and many times in real estate, it's 1% to 2% acquisition fee. In mobile home and RV parks, it's more like 2% to 4% acquisition fee. They're making more money than the broker. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, they're getting paid an asset management fee during the course of holding the property. And then they're getting paid a disposition fee when they sell the property. So they're highly incentivized to buy stuff and to sell stuff. So that to me is very typical, but not a great, it's the incentives are in the wrong place. Now, the way that we do it is we don't charge any fees, no acquisition fee, disposition fee, asset management fee, no fee if we get a loan. So we have a lower preferred return, a 5 pref and a 50-50 split. Sometimes we structure it with bigger splits for the investor. But the main thing is we don't participate in any of the cash flow until the investor gets 100% of their money back, plus at least 5% per year. So we go 5 years and not make a dime. Mm. So what are we incentivized to do? And we also have a structure within our company that we pay people well, but there's a lot of people in our company that are set up directly as that have equity upside in individual deals. So you have not just me, but other team members that are working their butts off to get, and think about it, I'm always one of the biggest investors too. So I set up this with an investor mentality. So you and me as investors, once we get our money back, these other team members that did all the hard work, they start building equity. That's when we split with them. So it's a different way of thinking about it, where, these days we're competing with the Blackstones, with the Carlyles, the all the big companies. There's a lot of newer young guys that are out there raising $50 million funds, and they're making their money buying stuff and selling stuff. And they're not really creating value at the properties for any long-term value for anyone, and especially for the residents. So that's they don't have that type of partnership. So I'm making my answer is kind of long, but any investment, I think you look at what are the incentives. If we don't succeed, we have a determination to succeed, because if we don't benefit.
Right.
Whereas too many times you can see that it's not working out. Let's just sell it and we make money.
Right.
So that's but I will tell you, it's one of the most forgiving real estate asset classes there is. So you can have a lot of bad operators still make money, which you can see as a sector. That's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing for the sector too.
Not motivated to be better.
Yeah. So we buy properties from bad operators all the time, and they've made money on the deal. There's no doubt they made good money on the deal, but there's so much meat on the bone because they haven't filled the vacancy or done the right marketing or whatever.
Based on some of the big players in the especially mobile home investment space, you guys are kind of doing the opposite of some of the strategies out there, because some of the ones I've run across, it's just like I said, it's a great space to be in, and their motivation is to get in there and raise prices and just make a bigger chunk of money off of the people that are already there, and not necessarily worried about the long term.
Yeah, they have a 5-year, 7-year, or 10-year horizon, and that's as far as I can see.
Yeah, I like what you guys are doing as far as you're in, no pun intended, but obviously you're invested in the long term, and it's not all about getting in the black necessarily. It's like, how are you helping people have a good life, right? Awesome.
We had a meeting yesterday with a lot of our regional managers, and we talked about delighting the customer. And the challenge, with our business, and that we don't think of that like you would think of it if you're selling furniture, or you're selling some sort of product that you want to make sure that they come back to you. And I think that's one of the problems with so especially with the RV, like, you want to delight that customer. So how do you make, because we're not, in some cases, maybe we have the best properties, in some areas. We got the Borrego Springs, we got the Zion, we've got stuff on the coast in Northern California. But in other places, our product may not be any more special than anyone else's. So if that's the case, how do we give the customer a better experience? And especially RVers, like, if they come in, they have a good experience, and they build a relationship with someone that's working there, or they just think someone else that they met there, and they had a good experience, they're coming back. And the other thing is, that's also when price doesn't matter that much. Right. They'll long forget what they paid, where they'll remember their experience.
100%. We just talked about that in one of our recent webinars about resell. It's so much easier in business in general to get those people that already know you to come back. And so, like, that experience, and then as it relates to the whole thing, from finding the park, booking it, enjoying your stay and all that, you optimize all those pieces of it. Then you've got the raving fan, or in your case, delighted fan, followers and things of that nature. Makes it that much easier for them to say, hey, we need to come back there. In regards to your RV parks, as of today, how many parks do you guys own, manage?
Well, I figured you were going to ask that, and I should have done my homework. And it gets a little tricky because of the long term to. I want to say it's. I'm going to apologize for not having the exact number, but if we just talk about like the daily, weekly, high-end destination RV parks where some are seasonal and stuff like that, then you're looking at approximately 10. So, I was going to pull up BoaVidaRV.com and yeah. But I got to tell you, there's so much I don't know these days because I have such a great team. So it's my legacy investors, they always tease me because they used to ask me questions. They were amazed because I knew everything. Right. And now I just I don't.
Well, it means you got somebody that's helping you get things done. So that's good.
Here's what, let's see. Yeah, so about 11 destination RV parks that fall under the BoaVida RV brand compared to the extended stay, which is managed by BoaVida Communities.
Right. And if you wanted to highlight one, like 2 or 3 of those, like where are they at and kind of what's the thing that is the attraction in those particular areas?
Well, let's see. I'm drinking from this mug. It says, "May the forest be with you."
All right.
And I got that at my inspection when we had the Trinidad. So in Trinidad, California, it's called Emerald Forest. And that basically is on the Emerald Forest and Cabins. It's on the coast in Northern California above Eureka. Right. Giant redwoods, but that place just stays packed. It's an awesome place to visit.
Nice.
Be careful when you're walking on the beach because that's where they have the you have a lot of big waves come in, but it's really just awesome there. So that's a great place. My favorite is Borrego Springs. So if any of your listeners ever visit like Palm Springs. Mm-hmm. So if Palm Springs is basically too much of a concrete jungle for you, and you want just awesome desert, that there's only 3,000 people. We've got 2 golf courses and fishing ponds. We've got some amazing swimming pools. We've got these different types of jacuzzis that are killer, but there's hiking. And it's called the Springs at Borrego is the RV park. If you go to, I think if you just pull up the Springs at Borrego, or you can go to BoaVidaRV.com, BoaVida RV.com, and you can look these up. But that park is probably my favorite, and we like to go there with the kids and play pickleball and tennis and ride bikes. And my wife likes to go on the hikes, and there's all these like slot canyons and stuff. Yeah, there's a Rams Hill golf course is a fancy golf course up there. But that's just a killer location. One of our other top locations, and we've got some great places that are great stops along the way, like in Las Cruces. But one of our real destination parks is actually, I don't know if it's on this map. It looks like it's not. We may have found something to update. So just outside of St. George, Utah is Zion. So we have, I think it's actually the town of Virgin, Utah, and it's right near the entrance to the Zion National Forest. And that, if you haven't been there, that's really something to see.
Yeah.
And our property is actually, I forget which river it is, but the river runs right through it. So
Oh, nice.
You can play right there in the river. And for the kids, we actually have this little gold mining thing in the front of our shop there that the kids can kind of play with and practice their gold mining skills.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's a lot of fun. And the people, when you're walking around and people are sporting their American flags, and actually you have a lot of foreigners that are traveling through the U.S. through RV. It's just a great way to see the country. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been to Zion. It's been several years ago. I was a kid, but yeah, definitely a great place to visit if you haven't gone already. Let's talk about your giving back. I noticed when we were on your website, there's several organizations that you guys support in one fashion or another. So how is that? How does that part of your business, reflect your goals and visions as a business owner and leader in the space?
There's a few things that we do. I try to focus locally, but I have this kind of if something gets on your mind, things start out like snowballing by saying yes to things. So you just start saying yes, and then if it becomes too overwhelming, then you can kind of cut back from there. But so then like in like the course of kind of learning. I'm not a huge fan of the word balance, but you kind of figure out like, well, when you're doing your due diligence on a property that you might buy, a mobile home park or RV park, you want to make sure it's a good investment, especially if you're going to invite people alongside with you. So so most of the time, if it's a local charity and you can go meet the people running it, who are the operators, where's the money going, who are the people it's affecting. So we've kind of focused a lot on women and children ministries and stuff like that, and charities. But last couple of years, we've been very focused with Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And then this year, we're doing a bunch for Youth for Christ. There's the Teen Center in West Sacramento. Our goal is to raise $100,000. I was doing a 100% match. So we've exceeded that goal. It's still actually going right now. So we do this Valera Capital Cup every year, where we can pick our own charity and send that out. So I send that out to a lot of my contacts and stuff. And so if anyone's passionate about Youth for Christ, wants to, double their investment with me on that, then I'm doing 100% matching on that. We've already raised over $100,000 for them in the last, 30, 40 days. So we try to do something locally every year there. And then there's a few other local charities we'll give some money to. The other cool thing is I just have so many great investors, and I've got one of our legacy, I call them legacy investors because they've been, investing with me for, 10 years or so or more. And these people have made money and they've retired, and now they're working on stuff so we've got, I think it's Hands for an African Child or something. And it's building homes in Uganda. Right. So we send some money there, but also we do a matching every year in Tijuana to help build homes there. And a lot of churches, it's great that they do this. They go there and they build these homes, and a lot of churches have programs, and it's great also for our kids to go and participate. But this group, it's called Build a Miracle in Tijuana. And this guy, he has a business in Tijuana, steel fabricating business. So his wife for years has been very passionate about helping the community there. So what they've done is they've actually built these community centers, but they hire like professionals to build these houses. So now we're building houses with actual plumbing. You have bathrooms, and you have electricity and things like that, compared to a lot of the not to talk down about the other things, but because obviously it's a better situation than what they were in. But having a construction background and a real estate background, it's nice to build someone something like that where we know that, they're not going to abandon it. And then on top of that, there's a community center. They're going in there. We're getting kids scholarships. We're getting kids job opportunities and things like that. And at the same time, sharing the gospel with them. So there's lots of stuff like that and then the other thing I think that I'm really kind of proud of our team. So I challenge them every year, Thanksgiving and Christmas, who can we find in our communities that need help?
Right.
So, actually, we're coming close to that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to be doing it again. And the stories that I get back, so there's so many people just in our communities. We have an opportunity just to help people, that whether it's, some seniors that just need help with groceries, or a kid who's a great kid that got their bike stolen or something that needs a new bike, or some kids need new shoes, or, just stuff like that. So we really challenge our own on-site teams to see how we can be a positive impact to our own, our residents.
Oh, that's awesome. I love to hear it. As is said, better to give than to receive. And so you guys are practicing that, and that's awesome. All right. So with your RV parks, now I know that you have a gentleman that kind of oversees what happens on that level as far as managing, operations and marketing and all that. But we want to get your best RV park marketing tip. What have you guys seen that's worked well for your places?
Yeah, he would probably be better to answer that, and I think this would go mobile home or RV. It wouldn't really matter.
Right.
It's always something simple. It's always the most basic. If the phone's not ringing, I like to think of a phone like a little dancing phone. Like if it's happy, it's dancing. If it's ringing, right? At first it feels great, and then it won't shut up. But it needs to be bouncing until it falls off the floor, right? I mean, hopefully you catch it and answer it. The reason it's not dancing is because of us, right? So we have accountability. It's always us. So a lot of times, and I just found one of our properties, when you Googled it, when you looked up RV, mm-hmm. and it's not one of these, it's a more extended stay one. That also has storage. Okay. But when we Googled that, and the funny thing is, it was one of our seasoned guys. So he knew this, that he totally knew this, but he didn't go back to the basics. And we were talking about why we had so much vacancy. And so while we're talking on the phone, I just went online and I said, okay, well, why don't I just type in the name of the lake it's on and the RV? Mm-hmm. And did it pop up? No, it didn't pop up.
Right.
But so then we did a deeper search. We found it, the wrong phone number. And it's a newer acquisition.
Sure.
And, so normally our team goes through all this stuff and they go through each thing. And this one was missed. So it's always the most simple, and everyone thinks it's complicated that we need to do this, or we need it, or our price is too high.
Right.
But they're not. If you put, so I guess the simple, so the thing that I would tell people is, you be the customer. If you're the customer and you're trying to find that RV park, what are you going to do? Most people today are going to pick up their phones and they're going to say, they're just going to type in, I'm going here to this location. So they're going to type in location, they're going to type in RV park.
Yep.
So what pops up? Okay, so does the RV park pop up that we're trying to bring people to? If it does, great. Now, does the phone number, is it the right phone number? That's it. Okay, now it's the right phone number. Let's call the phone number and see how they answer. And we actually have a team, our in-house marketing team. They do they shop people,
Right.
And they do that every few months. And we just had one, and they're going back and doing training with people. If the phone's not being answered, or it's not being answered nicely, and we just had one of our team members said, before you pick up the phone, smile.
All right.
It's tough to be, it's a lot. You're going to be a lot nicer if you just smile before you pick up the phone, right? So how is your response? So it's like, just start from the beginning. It's the most basic thing, and all those. Because to hire a great company like yours to put fuel on the fire to generate phone calls, right? You have to make sure all those things are in line too.
Yeah, 100. Wait, you're preaching what we have been talking about in our webinars and things. Like we started out with, and when we started doing them recently, is your reputation. And then a lot of people think of it as just, do we have good reviews or not? And that's one element of the whole picture. You just, did a great job of, putting out what that entails. Besides that, right? How do you answer the phone? Do you answer the phone? If you can't answer the phone, is there something in place that allows the customer to continue the conversation? And of course, we have an awesome solution for that kind of thing, missed call, text back. And so there's a lot of things that, in addition to, positioning yourself, with a smile and, delivering a great experience one-on-one, there are other pieces to that, like you said, like, is your phone number right? And all these things that are just little pieces. They're not difficult, but a lot of times, you guys have a great team in place, but then there are other folks that might watch this that it's kind of on them. And, they're a single location, maybe family owned and things like that. There's some things that you can do on those small little changes and that can help in the long run to avoid, like I said, people not finding you, people, leaving bad reviews because no one answered the phone, whatever the case may be.
It's those little tweaks, can generate a ton of business.
Exactly. Yes, we agree. And listen to Eli. All right, we're wrapping our time up today, but we do want to get a favorite camping story, either growing up or maybe with your family that you have now. Share a fun memory or story about that. What do you got?
Wow, that's definitely a tough one. That's a tough one. When you mentioned that you're going to ask me that, I was trying to think of a good camping. We used to do company camping trips, and those were great. Now it's a little tough to do that with the company expanded, from coast to coast. Right. But as far as with the family, just canoeing in Tahoe. Stuff like that. We'll tell you though, we do less camping now, but I do every year. My son and I go with a group of brokers, mobile home and RV park brokers, and some investors up to Ketchikan, Alaska, and we do a fishing trip up there every single year for a full week, and that's just like the best time ever. So time with my son out there, killing fish is a lot of fun. filling the freezer.
Yeah, very good. Awesome. Well, Eli, we're super thankful that you could spend some time with us today, get up super early and start your day right with Rest and Relax ROI. So thankful for that. Any last words, parting knowledge, or anything you'd like to share with our viewers and listeners?
Well, thank you for inviting me, and I would just recommend that if you're not allocating capital to marketing, then definitely reach out to Mark and have that conversation with him, because it's little simple things that they'll help you with, and you'll start tweaking, and next thing you know, those vacancies, your occupancy is going to go up.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the shout out, Eli. I wasn't fishing for a compliment, but I'll take it. All right, everybody, we're glad that you tuned in this time around. We will catch you again on the Rest and Relax podcast on the next episode. Until then, happy trails.
Strap in, folks. You're about to experience the R&R ROI marketing tip.
2022 SEO tactics. That is the marketing tip we're looking at today. So we spoke about this amongst other things in our latest webinar when it comes to being able to reach more people with your marketing tactics. And so number one here, you can see something that's important for 2022 when it comes to search engine is check core web vitals. So these three areas are what this is about: how fast your page loads, how fast your page responds when someone does something on it, and the visual stability of the site. So does it shift a lot or not, as far as things moving and different things of that nature. So check those things when it comes to your website. Make sure that it's not slow, and that's definitely an important part of SEO for your website. And another thing you can look at is being featured in People Also Ask. So that has to do with the search results at the bottom of the page. When someone types something in, they can also be featured in the bottom if you answer the correct questions that are being asked. Schema, markup, and rich snippets. It's another thing you can implement and utilize to be featured in a special area of the search results. Long form content, so not just for the sake of being long-winded, but providing really valuable longer form information that can help your guests is huge as well. And then make sure you're always hitting the basics when it comes to SEO. You're like not only the long content, but just in general, all the content on your site is quality, and your on page is optimized, and that you do have backlinks from relevant websites. So those are some SEO tactics for 2022. Make sure you're getting those done.
Thanks for tuning into the Park Pod. Don't forget, subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform. We really need your attention and validation. Seriously, we can't go on without it. For additional episodes and more, visit restrelaxroi.com. Join us next time. Until then, happy trails.